everyone, this is Tracy from Lavinia Stamps, and thank you for joining me for another demo today. I'm going to be using our stencil, this one here, and I'm going to be using jade and Antarctic, and I'm going to be using alcohol ink eggplant, and we're going to be popping those onto the gel press. So I've got my brayer here, and I've got some scrap paper, and I've got my card to take an impression. So starting with the jade, I'm going to pop a little down. Don't need too much. And then just create a nice thin layer on our gel press. Make sure that's completely covered. Give that a wipe. And then we're going to pop our stencil down over the top of that. And we're going to just roll the brayer over the top and take that colour out. Okay. So I've got my smoothie that I used with the eggplant the other day. So I'm going to just stick to that, pop a little down, and then work my way over the top. And I need a little bit more. Now it's worth experimenting with this, because obviously the more you put on, the more vivid the colour is going to be. So have a play and see which way you prefer it. But you can create some lovely subtle effects doing it this way, or some really nice sort of vivid colours. And I suppose that depends on what project we want to do, really. Okay, so I'm thinking that I've covered everywhere. It's not that easy to see, but I can see that the stencil's pretty much covered in the eggplant colour, so I'm guessing that we've covered it. So pull that off. I'm going to pop that in some water. And then I'm going to put Antarctic over the top of that. Just blend that over the top. You don't want it to be too thick. I've done it so that I can just see the colour and the design peeping through. Just see that coming through. So that's a good time for me to take the print now. So I'll bob the card down, give that a nice smooth over. Need to put a little bit of pressure on. And let's see what we've got. Wow, those colours are lovely, really nice. That makes a fabulous background for something though, doesn't it? So I'll put that to the side and I'll work out what I'm going to stamp over the top of that. Okay, so something I've discovered from working with the acrylic paints, certainly over the last few weeks, the archival is definitely a better stamping ink onto acrylic paint. You know that I am a huge fan of VersaFine and I will always stamp with this on a matte card. But over the top of the acrylic paint, it's not as intense black as what the archival would be. So when I'm stamping onto the acrylic backgrounds, I'm going to try to remember to always use the archival. So that's just something I wanted to share with you anyway. So we're going to be doing the fish onto this background. So I'm going to start with the larger one. Make sure that that's completely inked up, and then we're just going to bob that down. Give that a good press and take off. And that definitely gives us a more intense black. Okay, so the next one, inking up again in the archival. And then we're going to stamp about here. Good press. And take that off. And then we've got our two little fish here. I'm going to do the same thing. Just ink up in the archival. And we're going to, let's pop that one there. And then our other little one. About here. Okay, so because you can see through where I've stamped the colour on the other side, I've done exactly the same as what I did with the jellyfish, and I've just cut the main body out. And if I just stick that over the top, that's just going to make it pop even more. So I haven't concerned myself cutting out all the fins here and the fine detail on the outside. I've just concentrated on the body and the big fan tail at the back. So I'm going to just bob a little bit of glue down onto these. line that up. And because you've already stamped the image, you can line that up absolutely bob on. And once that's stuck down, you can't even see the seam or anything. So it's a great way of making the image stand out so much more. Okay, so I'm going to do the same with the other fish. And then just use my finger just to move the glue about, and then we're going to line that up again, pop that down, and we've got our two little fish as well. And the last one. Now, I'm not that great at cutting things out, I must say, but that's just patience with me. I'm sure you guys will do a much better job than what I've done, but in saying that, do you know what, you cannot see the joins on that. Just looks like a stamped image over the top, but you can see that now it looks more solid as opposed to see-through. Okay, so I'm going to go around the edge of the card now. This time I think I'm going to use the Distress Oxide to go round. It's quite a nice blue this, so I'm just going to tread carefully to start with. Just check that that works well, as in the colour wise, but I think that does, it looks nice. That's a blueprint sketch. Now, because there's quite a lot going on in the background, I'm going to keep this quite simple. So that is a lovely shade of blue actually. It's almost sort of lilac. Works really well. Okay, so I just need a fine paintbrush now. And I'm just going to go around the edge. Just making it stand out that much more. Puts a nice little blue aura around the fish. That is such a nice blue. It's funny, I haven't used this for ages, but I've forgotten how nice some of these oxides are. The colours are just fabulous. And they work really well with the, because they're sort of chalky, they work really well with the acrylic paints, to be honest. They blend well over the top as well, because the acrylic paints are quite chalky, so and there we go. Okay, so lastly I'm going to put a little bit of glitter over the top. So using my glue pen, I'm just going to fill in those areas, just a little, and follow the lines on the fish. I think this one's Arlo. We've got Arlo and we've got Flo. Okay, so colour wise, what shall we go with? Let's try, we'll go with the green and the blue, and let's see what this looks like. Perfect. Lovely sparkle. And I think what we'll do as well is we're going to go over the top with the Glossy Accents and just make that pop even more. Now, as you know, this dries completely clear. It's like a resin, but it will make it almost three-dimensional, depending on how much you put on, but it gives you a lovely glossy finish. And the glitter will really shine through underneath when it's all dry. I'll show you the end result when it's all dry under the camera so you can see the effect. Okay, so there's our card. As I say, it's hard to see it at the moment, but when it's finished I'll show you what it looks like when it's dry. But it's quite easy to put on the Glossy Accents because it's so thick. It just seems to stay wherever you put it, so I'll leave that to dry and I'll show you later. Thanks for watching, guys. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.